a group of women about the advantages of having more Pacific Island nurses working in New Zealand hospitals.
Hi.
Rahulu trained to be a nurse in Tonga for 3 years, where she was a local staff nurse. She's a qualified midwife. She's trained in child welfare of the eyes, nose and throat, and she's trained in general obstetrics. This is Fossey's 3rd year at Middlemore Hospital's obstetric unit. When she came to New Zealand 20 years ago, she was told she couldn't practice here as a nurse, so she went to Australia to retrain. New Zealand's training standards are different to the Pacific, and placed in that situation, many other Pacific-trained nurses desperately look for alternative jobs.
Coming from the Pacific Island, we have a big family, so you have to look into that. You can't just live in here without paying for your housing, paying for your food, clothing, and all those, modern things that you've been adjust yourself in a new life. So in that situation, most of our Pacific Island registered nurses were working in factories and using as nurse aides and kitchen maids so that they can earn some money to support their family.
I work in a geriatric hospital and I have a number of enrolled nurses who are Pacific trained, who had worked in public health, who'd worked in maternity hospitals, and in New Zealand they're working as either hospital aides or enrolled nurses in geriatric areas. I've come across a lot of people who are working in private geriatric hospitals, and we're talking with them. They'd really like to get into the general hospitals, into obstetrics, and they can't because of the restrictions in New Zealand.
Nursing training is available in Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, the Cook Islands and soon Tokilo. The restrictions placed on women who trained in the islands and who wanted to practice here soon prompted Ake and other Pacific nurses to push for a special retraining course to get them up to the New Zealand standard of nursing.
They do need registered Pacific Island nurses in New Zealand so that they can use their expertise to look after their own people, because they do understand their need, they do understand the language, they can communicate with their own patients, and then, will make it easier for the doctors to get the information, through the patients and vice versa with the doctors, so that they can get the right diagnosis and then they can get the right food, the right treatment for the Pacific people.
Pacific Island nurses are needed in every area because there are Pacific Island patients in every area. And as Aki's just said, it's really important to have people that you can relate to. If you can't relate to the nurse, you don't understand the culture, then it makes it more difficult for the patients. So that I think it's really important right across the board. At the moment, there's a big representation of Pacific Island nurses in geriatric areas, and yet there's a minority of Pacific Island patients in that area. So that if we can get more into the obstetric areas especially, and general medicine, surgery, just right across the board, because I think they're important.
Have you ever been in hospital before?
No. How do you feel like coming to hospital?
I'm so scared. This is my first time in the hospital.
Pacific nurses are a united group. The Samoans and Niueans have set up their own nursing associations, as well as combined Pacific nursing groups. Together they triumphed in setting up the Manukau Polytechnic's bridging course for Pacific Island nurses in Otara, Auckland in 1984. This is a teaching ward used by students, and they're putting into practice the theories of nursing.
The main aim of this course is to prepare the Pacific Island nurses to function effectively in the healthcare system of New Zealand. And the basic thing that we're looking at is the experience that they have in order to assist the healthcare providers in New Zealand in identifying and translation of the needs of the Pacific Island people here.
What kind of qualifications do you have to get onto this course?
Well, the first thing, they have to be registered in their own island as a general nurse. They must provide evidence of their curriculum in their 3-year course in the island where they come from. And they must show some evidence of having practiced in the last 20 years, either in hospital or in the community. And they must prove themselves to be fit and proper to be eligible to register here as a general and obstetric nurse.
The computers are used to test their knowledge on any medical subject, and they also do clinical practice in hospitals and community health centres. Not all are from Auckland. 2 have come up from Christchurch and 1 from Palmerston North. At the end of the day, most will go home to their husbands and children, and the pressure to cope with studies and family commitments is great.
It's a bit hard for me because I've got my family to look after, and I also have to cope with the studies. But my great interest
trying to cope with the learning and also cope with the family situation at home, but I really look forward for the future, and I try to cope with my husband's help.
Well, what did your husband say when you decided to come onto this course?
Well, it's a chance for me to do it, and it's worth it too. He's behind me and he really supports me too.
Nursing is a really course to do. There is a lot of study, not only at the technical institutes, but they also have to have study practical out in the hospitals. And it can be a real burden because of the family situation, where the family will say there's a family do to go to or family funeral, but they've also got to go out to the nursing schools. So we to the tutors the commitments that these students have, which is a lot more than, say, Palangi students, because the families, as a member of a Pacific Island family, you have your duty to your family, so that's a really difficult one.
Are they capable of giving them the guidance? What problems are going to arise later on? You know, there's lots of
Pacific nurses who are already registered in New Zealand spend a lot of time in the community encouraging our people to get into nursing. It's easy recruiting them, but the hard part is getting the students to stay and finish the course.
With meetings like Pacific and with Samoan Nurses Association, we find out the people who are interested in nursing, and we give them the information, so that sharing the information is really important, so people understand why, or about nursing courses, exactly what's involved. We are really trying to get the young people into comprehensive programs, and that means going around and talking to their parents so that they'll know what's expected of them.
Okay, the day centre. Maybe babysitting.
At the Manukau Polytechnic's bridging course, students get a bursary which is the same as the unemployment benefit. That's if the income of the husband and wife is less than $8,000 a year. Solo parents can still do the training and stay on the DPB.
The students will have to pay their class fees. They have to pay their transportation every time we go out for our clinical experience. They have to find means of getting there and coming back to Teti. They have to pay their uniform, but the basic thing they have to spend money on is their books and class materials.
Have you had a good success rate in the past?
Yes, in previous course we've had a very good success rate of our students. They all have jobs and they're all working either in the public hospital or in the community, or in private hospital as well.
Will there be another one next year?
We don't know yet, but we still feel that there is a great need for this course to continue for our Pacific Island nurses working in New Zealand, but we don't know whether it's going to be another course.
Anne Young's a graduate from the Manukau Polytechnic's bridging course, and she's now at Middlemore Hospital.
Back in the cot, and go and baby
Poor Pacific nurses like Anne are needed, and it's important that Pacific people get into not only Pacific Island nursing courses, but any course which offers a comprehensive training in nursing.
It's very hard. The training is very hard. To bring up a family is hard also, but the benefits to be derived after undergoing this training is well worth it.
I think it's really exciting because at long last people have recognised the importance of having Pacific Island nurses looking after Pacific Island patients. It's important to have Pacific Island nurses in the community, Pacific Island nurses in theatre, just right across the board, and our time is coming. We're really getting on in nursing.
Great ladies in the profession of nursing, and hope young people may join up soon. And now let's find out what's happening in the Pacific. Over to you.